Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to Decidedly Vanilla. How are you guys doing? Hope you're all doing very well. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. We are back here in Sea Haven and today, kind of apropos of nothing really, I've decided to take down the Santa and apparently Kane has used it as a cookie jar. Well, fair enough. Maybe the cookies are my reward for taking down the Santa, but it is long past the time when we should have been taking down our Christmas decorations, and I hope Whip doesn't mind, especially considering he gave everybody some fantastic gifts, but I feel like Santa is probably due back at the North Pole by now. I think, not to say he's outstayed his welcome or anything, but I have a feeling he might be needed elsewhere. So I'm going to take this all down. I'm probably going to just deposit a chest somewhere around here. In fact, I could probably do it in the new post office Kane has set up. So I'm going to be giving Whip back all his concrete, because goodness knows he'll probably be needing it for the project he has going on over at his base. But I figured today was going to be a good day to get some bits and pieces of work done. I haven't really mentioned this a whole lot. I have mentioned it briefly on Twitter, so if any of you guys followed me on Twitter, you will probably know about this, but I am going away for a couple of weeks at the end of January, beginning of February. In fact, when this video goes out, I may well already have left. So I'm not quite sure exactly when I'm going to release this video, but today's video is going to be a little bit of work on getting my emerald ore supply hopefully increased a little bit so that I can spend the next couple of videos making some more of the beacons over at my jungle base. Basically, I'm pre-recording a whole bunch of content from now on, and I just noticed that you can kind of speed mine the stained clay, but I'm not speed mining any of the concrete. That's interesting. I didn't realize concrete had that kind of mining resistance to it. That's interesting. Right, anyway, not to get too sidetracked here. So what I'm going to do today is probably just pick a bunch of questions that people have already sent me over on Twitter. Sorry if you missed out on that, but you need to be following me on Twitter if you want to get included with some stuff like this, unless I announce it in a video, which I didn't really have time to this time around. And yeah, we're going to be going and doing a little bit of speed mining in the extreme hills biome just outside of my jungle base. There's a handy little pocket of extreme hills, and I could be doing some caving around there, and I mentioned in a previous video that caving is probably the quickest way to find emeralds, but I've gotten to the point now where I've explored so much of the caves in that area that I think speed mining is just going to be the best way to get a whole bunch of emeralds. I've been getting maybe at the most like 9 or 10 emerald ore blocks from a single session of speed mining on one level, so that is going down to like Y11 and then just speed mining out as large an area as I possibly can using a Silk Touch pickaxe. In fact, yeah, I think I'll probably leave the cookie chest there just so people can have it, and obviously all of these chests and stuff are all part of the Secret Santa stuff. They need to go away as well, but I will leave it there for the time being so people can do what they want with that if they want to repurpose it as something. So I'll go and put the rest of this stuff in Whip's chest at the lovely new post office. Whereabouts is he? There we go. So there are a couple of new arrivals on the server lately. A couple of new people have arrived, and I'm not going to show you all of the names in the post office because, to be honest, when this video comes out, I'm not sure if they will have released their first videos, but we definitely have a few new arrivals. So as always, the best place to check for stuff like this is at decidedlyvanilla.com, which is our official website that Kane put together. Kind of shows you guys everybody who is currently on the server. Links to their YouTube channels are there as well. This mushroom seems to have gotten out, or maybe it was just released into the wild from around here. Not entirely sure, but the ones over there in Page's pen still seem to be there as they should be, so hopefully not too much of a situation over here. So yeah, I'm going to head over to the extreme hills. I'm going to reposition the beacon that I've got over there, and then hopefully we can have a nice speed mining session and increase my supply of emeralds. So here we are back at my temple storage room, just so I can show you guys exactly how many emerald ore blocks I currently have, which is a stack of 64 and then 24 there. Now, ideally, if I could get around 100 total, then that would be ideal. So if I got another 20 or so from this mining session, I think we could call it good. I think 100 blocks would be sufficient. If I can get more than that, then fantastic. And I do still have 6 in the filter mechanism over at the emerald ore donation spot, but I would ideally not like to take those out if I possibly can, because then people can still donate emerald ore and I can still expand what I have planned to build over here. But I really like these two beacons, the two obelisks that we built in previous episodes. I kind of want to do something like that for the next episode. If not emerald, then at least the gold and lapis beacons will be able to go up. So those videos will probably go up throughout the time I'm away in the US, which is where we're going. We're going to visit my family over there, my wife's family, really, but I guess they're my family now as well. And as we load in the chunks over here, you'll probably see a beacon, yes, coming into view right about there. And if we go down here, you will see the extent of my strip mining operation so far. This is not this is not the only one I've done. This is about the third one that we've done. So I'm just going to drop down here and activate my elytra. There we go, so we don't take so much fall damage. And this is the Y18 coordinate mine, and this one is the Y13, I think. Yeah, around Y13. So we could go down a couple more levels from here, and it looks like I've left a little bit of XP around from mobs and stuff that have been around here. But I'm probably just going to start a whole new mine so we have the biggest opportunity to acquire a whole bunch more resources. So I'm mainly going to be going for emeralds. I'll probably pick up some other rare ores as well, but as you can see, we're leaving redstone and coal and iron around the place. Probably only going to be picking up lapis, diamond, and emerald if we find them. Okay, it looks like we've got a little cave here, and it's not lit up, which is good, because I was a little worried I would have spent a bit of time digging down to this, only to find an area that I'd already mined out pretty heavily. So I'm going to take a quick look around here, just in case there's any emerald ore lurking in the walls around here. Other than zombies, I don't really see a whole lot of stuff in here that we can grab, so let's deal with these guys, and then we'll move on to making our beacon setup. Okay, looks like we do have a spawner over here, which is always worth investigating, just in case it has anything interesting. Hi, Mr. Creeper. Dang it. That was such a whiff with the arrow. And the bottom of this little cave is actually around Y15, so all I need to do is start digging down a little bit so we can place the bottom tier of the beacon, and we should be able to set up. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to open up Twitter. I'm going to answer the first set of questions that have popped up on my feed, and we should be able to go from there. And of course, the first question out of the gate is a heavy-hitting one. This one's from Stormageddon, who's asked a couple of other questions. We'll probably be answering those in a second as well. They asked, what do you think about the change to YouTube's partner policy, and how will it affect you and your channel? Now, of course, in terms of how it will affect me and my channel, the answer is not at all. So YouTube's new partner policy, for those of you guys who do not know about this, they've recently changed the requirements for YouTube partnership, which is basically the thing that allows you to monetize your channel and have access to a couple of behind-the-scenes features of YouTube which regular creators do not have access to. And they've changed the requirements for it so that you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, and you need to have watch time per year of 4,000 hours. Now that sounds like an awful lot of time, and for a lot of people it is. I've been seeing a lot of people, especially people who work in things like animation and making short form content like that, even people who make tutorials, which are usually fairly short videos, especially when it comes to video game tutorials. Stuff like my Minecraft tutorials, for example, I usually try and keep under 10 minutes. And if you make a channel like that and you don't get a whole lot of views on your tutorials, it is very possible that you'll be outside of the monetization bracket, because you won't be making 4,000 hours of watch time every year. Now, as far as my channel is concerned, I am very lucky to be outside of that bracket. I made probably about 11,000 hours of watch time within this month alone. Like, my channel has 32,000 subscribers and counting at this point. I'm doing pretty well, so I'm in the privileged position of not being somebody who is affected by this, and I know a lot of people who are, and to those people you absolutely have my sympathy because it's really tough to have been part of the YouTube partnership program, especially for people who have already been signed up for a while, and then be told you can't have that anymore. And a few of my friends are affected, a few of my my extended family who are also on the YouTube circuit are affected by this, and there has been a lot of back and forth about what this means in terms of YouTube's policy, in terms of how they treat smaller creators. And I want to preface this by saying that I'm somebody who's largely been unaffected by these changes, and so I have a different view of it to somebody who has been directly affected. I can absolutely understand that a lot of people's first reaction to this was confusion and then anger. That tends to happen when what you perceive as a source of income, or at least a potential source of income, gets taken away from you. And a lot of people are going to be conflating this erroneously, I believe, with the recent situation that happened with Logan Paul releasing a video which was very much not appropriate for audiences on YouTube. And that was kind of unfortunate timing on YouTube's part, because I believe this has been a change that's been in the works for a while as an answer to a completely different problem, which is people basically downloading other people's content and re-uploading it under accounts which are basically designed to make a quick buck off somebody who's been putting a lot of effort into their videos. Essentially, you'll find people who re-upload content that is likely to get a ton of views and then basically skim the monetization off of those channels because people searching for it will be able to just find a re-uploaded video instead of the original content. Now, unfortunately, this means it's going to impact a lot of smaller creators, people who have honest content, people who put a lot of time and effort into their videos, and I was in that boat for a long time. In the first year or so of my channel, I only got about 150 subscribers. So back in the day, when I started making tutorial videos and stuff like that, I would have met nowhere near that amount of requirements. So I would have been in the same boat. And that is why I have nothing but sympathy for people who've been affected by this, because ultimately you came to YouTube wanting to be a part of the community, and by doing this, YouTube has felt like it's rejecting that community. It's kind of like a vote of no confidence in smaller creators, which is not how YouTube sees it, but of course it's kind of the way it has to be. The amount of content that gets uploaded to YouTube on a daily or weekly basis now is absolutely unfathomable, and if anybody thinks that they can monitor this kind of stuff through human effort alone, then that's just not possible. So YouTube has to respond by creating some kind of automated system to be a gatekeeper for the monetization side of things, to be a gatekeeper for smaller channels making ad revenue, and ultimately that means that a lot of people are going to be left in the lurch. Honest creators are going to find their work is devalued as a result. And ultimately my advice to any creators who've been affected by this is just to do what feels right to you. If you feel like you need to go to a different community, if you need to go to Twitch, or if you need to seek out another video sharing platform to put your content out because you feel like YouTube has done you a disservice, go ahead, by all means. Like, seek out the things that make you feel better about your content and make you want to keep creating. That is ultimately what you want to... And if you feel like you can weather the storm here on YouTube, which has very much been my feeling over the last little while, if you feel like you can just stick it out and hopefully you'll achieve those goals again in future and be able to re-monetize your content if it has been demonetized lately, then more power to you. I think that's a fantastic way of looking at things. And ultimately, I hope it makes a difference to the landscape of YouTube. Hopefully, we see a lot fewer of these little channels just trying to skim off the ad revenue from larger creators, and hopefully we see a bit of a turnaround in YouTube's fortunes lately. Because when things go well for YouTube, then they go well for the creators as well. Let's not forget that we're here on YouTube because YouTube allows us to be, and you would hope that what's good for the platform is ultimately good for the people using the platform. This also kind of feeds into another question which came from Billy Tyler, which was, what is the most beneficial way for us as viewers to help out our favorite content creators, be it liking videos or view time or whatever? Now, obviously, if you can donate directly to a creator, that is going to be the best way of helping them out. Stuff like Patreon, things like donations and subscribes on Twitch, stuff like that. Anything that sends direct revenue to the creators is always going to be the thing that helps them out the most, because especially in terms of YouTube, when it comes to a larger creator or even a mid-sized creator like me, that is kind of the thing that's keeping them going. Stuff like, ad revenue and so forth can only take you so far in terms of having an income, and that is ultimately, like it or not, what's going to help these YouTubers and other content creators to pursue their dream. Now, if you're not in a position to donate directly, do not worry, there is a whole bunch of other stuff you can do. As far as we can tell, there are a couple of things that matter the most to YouTube itself when it comes to promoting a content creator's videos in the search algorithm so that it gets found more, in the suggested algorithm so it appears next to other YouTubers' videos, and in terms of the generation of advertising revenue itself. And the first of those is watch time. So if somebody watches a half-hour video all the way through, like you might do with this one if you're interested in watching through the entirety of this Q&A, that is going to be the most beneficial thing in terms of the way YouTube handles this video. The other thing is watch sessions, and this is a slightly different, that's 2 emerald blocks now. 2, I can't believe it. Look at this entire area we've dug out and we've only got 2. Watch sessions basically means if you watch a single video and then that drives you to stay on YouTube watching other videos of a similar type, whether they're from the same creator or other people. And that's why YouTube places a lot of store in stuff like playlists. It's why you will find a lot of playlists on my channel of either entire series or of videos that I think carry a similar theme. That is because YouTube is in the business of keeping you on YouTube to watch more videos. Because, as we've been talking about this entire time, that's how they generate revenue, both for their creators and for the platform itself. Now, I'm pretty sure stuff like likes and comments still factor in a little bit, but none of them are as important as watch time as far as YouTube is concerned. But as far as the creator is concerned, likes and comments are still extremely valuable. Just the psychological effect of seeing a ton of likes on a new series you've started can be crazy good for a creator. And here's our 3rd emerald ore block, not even in the section we're speed mining, just hovering over some lava here. Likes are important to creators because of audience engagement. Basically, you want to know as a creator that your audience is enjoying the stuff you're putting out there. And if a video gets thousands and thousands of views but only gets maybe 50 likes, then you kind of wonder, well, did people not think this was worth liking? Did people not want to move their finger in order to register that they enjoyed a video? That kind of thing can get to creators a little bit. It's the same with comments. If a video gets a whole bunch of comments, especially if they're comments about what's happening in the video, if people are taking part in discussions about things instead of just leaving a comment that says hi or something like just like I liked this, I mean, even stuff like that is okay because it shows that you're there and you're being part of this community, but anything that actually engages with the subject matter of the video is going to be vastly more valuable to a creator from like a mental perspective, from like a psychological perspective. They're going to be far more interested in talking to those people and having a conversation with them than they are just like saying hi back to people who've left a comment that just says hi. Anyway, I feel like I've been waffling on about this stuff for a little while, and this kind of subject matter does tend to get a little heavy, so let's change it up. Let's get a different question out of here. Hopestarter asked, do you have a PS4 or Xbox One and why? And have you tried any video games outside of PC and or Steam yet? Yes, I have. I own a PS4, and if you guys are familiar with me and Python GB collaborating on stuff, you might know that we did a series before Harmony where we were playing Destiny on the PS4, and that's something Python does a lot more. He does console gaming a lot more because he has a capture card that enables him to capture console game footage, whereas I don't. And there we go, emerald ore number 5, slightly outside of the area where I was speed mining, but we got it, and that's the important thing. So I don't have a capture card that will allow me to capture console footage. What I did for that series was stream from my PlayStation 4 and then just download the streamed footage and sync it up with my commentary, so it was a bit of an odd way of doing things and probably didn't result in the best quality content out there. For the most part, my PS4 is kind of like a home entertainment system now. It's not something that I generally use for gaming so much as just having something that will play Netflix through a TV and play other kind of video content. I watch YouTube through it sometimes as well. It's nice to have that stuff on the TV in the front room so that myself and my wife can just sit down in the evening and watch a couple of videos or watch a Netflix series or something like that. But I don't tend to do a lot of console gaming. A lot of the stuff that I buy and I play tends to be on PC. And right now my focus is pretty much exclusively, there we go, emerald block number 6, fantastic. It's pretty much exclusively on playing games like Minecraft that I already own, because these are the ones that get the most popular on my channel. I would love to do some more variety gaming in future, but right now that's not where my audience is. Any game other than Minecraft on my channel doesn't do particularly well in terms of views. Obviously, I understand that views aren't everything, and if you're happy playing a game, then you may as well keep playing it. But when it comes to my happiness, the thing that makes me happy is knowing that other people are happy. I'm an entertainer. I kind of want to be part of making somebody's day a little bit better. And as a result, if I don't think my videos are out there making people's day better by watching them, then I'm probably not going to keep making that series. Here's another question from Stormageddon that's kind of linked to that. Have you ever played Ark Survival Evolved, and would you consider doing a YouTube series on that. I would certainly consider it because Ark does seem like a fun game. I kind of kept it at arm's length for a while, but I've watched a few videos of it and it seems like a fun game. It's also incredibly grindy. So we're talking like a Minecraft level grind. Emerald ore block number 7, get in. It takes a lot of time to make any kind of progress in Ark, and you've got to be the kind of person who can put in a whole bunch of time, which currently I can't because it is taking all of my time and more just to make Minecraft content, not to mention the fact that I still have a part-time job I need to do. The other barrier for Ark for me is that my computer is not all that good. Like, if I ever press F3 in a video, you'll probably be able to see my computer specs. They're also listed on the About page of my YouTube channel. My computer was built on a budget of maybe £400 about 3 years ago, so it's not all that great. And when it comes to Ark, I know that quality is king. I know that having some up-to-date graphics cards and stuff would be very beneficial in terms of the quality of your series, and if you're not making high-quality content, then people aren't necessarily going to be as interested in watching. So I'm staying away from Ark for now, purely on the basis that I don't think my computer would be able to run it very well, and nobody wants to watch that game on low graphics settings. You want to be wowed by a game that has giant dinosaurs roaming around and stuff, and something tells me people aren't going to be wowed by any footage from Ark coming out of this computer. So at some point, yes, I would like to give it a try, but when I have the time, when I have the money, and when I have a better computer. Emerald block number 8. Fantastic stuff. All right, the next question comes from owner Robin, who asked, what is it like in the Hermitcraft Recap team? And I got to be honest, it's been a lot of fun. It really has been a lot of fun. As much fun as you can imagine watching a ton of content every week and then writing about it in a somewhat humorous style would be. It's been a lot of fun. For a start, it's got me closer to the Hermitcraft community than ever, and I wasn't really a huge part of the Hermitcraft community before. I guess I kind of peripherally watched some of the Hermits, but I never got super into watching them every week or anything. I just kind of caught up on occasional videos. I would watch some tutorials by people like Tango and Impulse. I would watch the occasional video from False Symmetry or Azuma or Python, or occasionally, when other Hermits videos were recommended to me. But it's been great having more contact with both the community and with the YouTubers themselves. Emerald ore block number 9. I definitely think the highlight of that, as I've mentioned before, was going to the Minecon event in London, meeting Mumbo Jumbo and False Symmetry, and having them both kind of understand who I was and be kind of able to have a friendly chat with them. And ultimately, the people on Hermitcraft make the kind of Minecraft content that I want to make. So I found myself basically with an enormous community of creators that I can identify with in terms of how we make YouTube videos. Lena Bookworm got in touch on Twitter to ask a whole bunch of questions, actually, which I'm going to read one at a time here. The first one is, what's your favourite video you've ever made or been a part of? Now, these are probably too many to count at this point because I've made a lot of videos and I've enjoyed making a whole bunch of them, but most recently, I would say probably the Nerdbox video. I had a lot of fun making that, enough to make a behind-the-scenes video about it, so if you guys haven't checked those out already, you've probably missed one of the biggest pieces of content my channel's produced in the last couple of months, and I would love it if you guys went and gave that a watch. That video is on 100,000 views or more right now, and I really want to thank you guys for supporting that one because I thought it was going to be pretty popular. I never guessed it would have the popularity that it actually ended up with, so that was huge for me. I really enjoyed making that. That aside, being part of the Cobble server recently has been incredible. It's always great to be with the people here on DV. I've been having a lot of fun recording Harmony with Python, so yeah, there are tons of things recently that I'm really proud to have been a part of. The next question was, do I have any tips on how to make a great time-lapse montage? Yes, and I won't share too many of them here because I do plan to make a few videos about how I use replay mods specifically, because I know a lot of people are interested in tutorials about that kind of stuff, so I'm planning on sharing that knowledge with you guys in the form of a few videos. I might not go too in-depth about some stuff, but there is definitely a lot of fun to be had with replay mod, and so I would like to share that with you guys in future if I can. So far, we have mined out this much area, and we have 10 emerald ore blocks. This game, man. This game. The next question from Lena was, what is the craziest and the weirdest thing you've done? Now, this one is actually kind of difficult to answer, and there are probably a lot of different answers I could give. But in terms of the craziest thing I think I've done recently, I would say that telling my bank that they could give me a mortgage to buy my house based on the fact that I make part-time income from YouTube videos about Minecraft felt pretty crazy to me at the time. It's definitely mellowed out a little bit now, but that was the first time I really told anybody in any kind of serious capacity, hey, making money from YouTube videos is a thing that I do. And they were totally fine with it, which was weird. It felt very strange to declare that that was part of my income and have them go, yeah, that's great. That's something that we understand as a financial institution in 2018. You know what I mean? Or 2017 it was at the time. But basically, yeah, that's probably the weirdest thing, which doesn't sound all that weird, especially considering that it's about a mortgage, you know? But yeah, buying a house was crazy and weird. And the fact that I got to tell people about my YouTube stuff as a result was crazy and weird too. The next question is also a little bit strange. What will I never do again? And there's probably a lot of stuff I will never do again. I will probably never work for the Walt Disney Company again, and not out of any kind of, not out of any kind of enmity or anything. Like, I had a lot of fun working for Disney, but probably never going to happen again. At the same time, I will probably never get married again, but that's a good thing because I really love the person I'm married to right now. So yeah, there's a lot of things I think I will never do again. I don't think I've really had that many negative experiences to say that, something bad happened to me and I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. I'm the kind of person who will try anything once, and I don't tend to carry that much negative experience away with me. Like, if something was bad, I tend to just let it go. So yeah, there are definitely some things I've done in the past where I'm like, I wouldn't do that again. But then it's not something as simple as just like, I rode a roller coaster and was like, I'm never doing that again, because I've definitely been back on roller coasters since, despite the fact that they kind of terrify me. So yeah, I'd say there are a couple of answers there that you can basically pick your favorite from. The next question is kind of on a similar line, but in a different direction, is what would you love to try someday? And again, there are a lot of things I would love to try. I have ideas, sort of half-finished ideas for stories from back in the time when I wanted to be a writer, and I would love to see them turned into either something written, or a picture book, or a graphic novel, or some kind of animated show. I would love to do something like that in future, but that isn't something I really feel like I can try myself. I would love to try going to a country where I don't speak the language and not being afraid of that fact, because there are definitely some places that I would love to go, but I'm constantly afraid of the fact that I will find myself lost in a country and not know how to get people to understand that I'm lost, understand where I need to go or who I am or anything. So I would love to do some more traveling, and I would love to try getting out of my comfort zone a little bit more, but goodness knows if that's going to happen. It's the kind of thing that I would definitely love doing. Most of the places I've been on holiday in the past have been places where they speak perfect English, so it's something that, yes, I would love to do, but I'm not certain exactly when. Billy, Tyler, and Mimikyu both had a fairly similar question, which in Billy's case was, do I enjoy playing Forever Stranded with the Cobblenauts, or do I think it would be a better single-player map? And Mimikyu asked, what's the plans for the Cobblenauts group, because Chosen Architect had mentioned that we were going to play a second pack as well as Lost Souls. And yeah, that's the gist of it. The Cobblenauts were not necessarily put together just to play Forever Stranded. It was a convenient pack. At the time we were putting the group together, they kind of said, yep, this pack is coming out, and we might be some of the first people to get to play it, so it would be really cool to set up this group and be able to play the pack together. But it wasn't formed just for the purposes of playing Forever Stranded. We were planning on making a brand new server for a while with a bunch of content creators who we thought shared similar values, had similar audiences in terms of sub counts, but had a different enough audience that we could all gain some stuff from collaborating with each other and making fun content together. And so when we formed that group, we were thinking about doing one of the new FTB kitchen sink mod packs like FTB Revelations or FTB Continuum. But as we have played that map together, it has become clear that it would be, if not better as a single player experience, then at least a little bit more balanced, because in terms of our experience of the pack, we're all content creators, but we're all creating content at different rates. So there are some people who want to make a video from that pack every day because they just do modded content and they just go from series to series. There are people like me who have 4 or 5 different games that they play all at once, and so when it comes to creating new content, they tend to stick more towards like making 1 or 2 videos a week. And the reason I made so many videos from Forever Stranded and Decidedly Vanilla got a little neglected as a result was because I felt like I couldn't keep up with the rest of the people who were playing in that pack with us, and that everybody else was going to have crazy good technology and I was still going to be making a windmill out of cardboard and string. So it got a little bit ahead of us at first, and I feel like being a single player pack, you definitely wouldn't progress through it so fast. And that may be a good thing or a bad thing. It kind of depends on your approach, because I feel like a lot of people are now going to be able to find our content and find us having zipped through the pack super fast and be able to follow along with people a lot faster when they're playing their own stuff. They're going to be able to search for our content in order to find whatever answer they need to find to like something that was blocking their own progress. And that's good. I've seen other people play it as a single player pack and have a fantastic time as well. So while I feel like the pack wasn't necessarily designed with a multiplayer experience in mind, I think it's working out for us. For better or for worse, we are getting through it. And once you get back into the overworld, once you've escaped the Nether, there are definitely options for it to kind of break out into a normal kitchen sink kind of pack where people can just go around collecting resources in the overworld. You don't have the constant danger of being trapped in the Nether with only blazing juggernauts for company. You have access to standard overworld things like water physics, and it's just a lot more of a livable situation. So we're not going to be playing a second pack just yet, but chances are once we all finish up what we want to do with Forever Stranded Lost Souls, we will probably move on to playing whatever the current popular FTB packs are at the time. Or something else could come up, who knows? There could be any number of things in Cobblenaught's future. Going back to the Hermitcraft recap a little bit, Billy Tyler also asked what the deal was, what started the feud between Zloy and Zombie Cleo. And it's not really a feud, to be honest. Like, I think Cleo herself has pointed out in her videos that like she and Zloy don't actually have this kind of vendetta against each other. It's just something, I think they have similar senses of humor and they like to play stuff like that for laughs. Zloy has been part of Cleo's community for a long time. He really likes her content. Emerald ore block number 11. And now with Zloy having the Hermitcraft Recap as a platform where he can openly make jokes directly about Cleo's content, the feud thing just came out organically from that. It was inevitable, basically. It was never not going to happen. And as always, we are delighted that Cleo and the other hermits play along with some of the jokes we make. And Alphon has a couple of questions here, which I'll just answer one at a time because they're both kind of related to the same thing. The first question was, if DV is your best series, why don't you record it more often? And I bet that if you don't, then you'll end up entering the Hermitcraft server. Well, Hermitcraft server aside, DV is one of my favorite series to record on, but right now I've been kind of stuck on grinding out for emerald ore, and I don't normally like making videos like this where all I'm doing is just like manual labor. I like to have an organized thing to do in a video and be able to show you guys some real progress, but the fact is that's kind of been gated behind the idea of getting this emerald ore stuff done so that I can make the last little sets of obelisks over at my jungle. So yeah, I've kind of been waiting for a good opportunity to do that, and I figured that DV content was just going to be fun to make for my time away. Also got a little bit sidetracked with Forever Stranded and wanted to get that series off to a good start. And obviously, if I was actually able to commit myself full-time to YouTube, then I would be able to make DV videos all the time. But the fact is, as I mentioned before, I still have a part-time job, so I don't really have the time to commit myself to making full-time episodes of anything. And on the subject of the Hermitcraft server, Alphon's second question was, is it just me, or do you feel the Hermitcraft server is kind of falling in popularity and everything? And in terms of its overall popularity, I don't think so. There aren't really that many Minecraft survival servers out there like Hermitcraft anymore, and if you look at the amount of hype there was around Hermitcraft at the start of Season 5, and it continues to this day, really, the Hermitcraft server is alive and well. It's never been better. If you just look at the amount of views that the Hermitcraft Recap gets, we're still getting more views now, this far into like 40 weeks into the server's life, than we ever were on the Hermitcraft Recap back when Season 4 was going on. And obviously right now some hermits are just taking a break from the Hermitcraft server in general because it's getting to that end game state where there aren't really that many more projects to be done, there aren't many more farms to be made. The only thing you can really do once a server reaches a certain size is build and wait for new game mechanics, and new game mechanics do not come along all that often. Emerald block Number 12. New game mechanics do not come along all that often, much like Emerald ore blocks, so you kind of have to take advantage of that and slow things down and work on other projects, which is what Hermit Skies is, for example, is also what Fullcraft was for some people. And obviously with YouTube going through the changes that it is right now, it's going to slow some people down. It's going to make some people reconsider what they're doing on YouTube in general, how best to make ad revenue, how best to make content. And like I said, the current season of Hermitcraft is 40 weeks in right now. And have you ever spent 40 weeks on anything? It's a lot of effort. It takes, like, it's been most of a year now. That's an awful lot to do. And so I feel like, to a certain extent, activity is going to start winding down until either the server resets or some new content brings everybody back to the server. And it's okay. That's just the natural life cycle of a Minecraft server. That's kind of what happens. And wow, both my pickaxes are down below 40 durability. This one's at 33, and I can mend that one. This one probably needs repairing with some diamonds. I've got 55 diamond ore. So I'm going to quickly head back to the temple, and we'll cash in the last of this stuff. And then I think I'm probably going to call it there. And our grand total is actually 100, which is probably good enough. I'm going to say that's good enough. Thankfully, we managed to get enough that we can probably make a start on the beacon design. So I'm going to get working on that now, and that's probably going to come up in the next episode in the form of a time lapse or something similar. So for now, from the Decidedly Vanilla server, I want to say thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode in the comments. It's a bit different from my usual style, but I figured it was worth doing every once in a while. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.